Okay, so we're live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook.
How about BBC One?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Sky News? CNN?
All right.
مصري اليوم? Guys, we have a technical issue. It says Tariq Al-Jaroudi's name on what?
Instagram.
No, but there we go. There we go. Yeah. There we go. We're good to go.
That's why am I cut on Instagram?
That's because the phone is small. I told you to stand where I'm standing.
Because this is not COVID friendly.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No, but you can change that to wide screen. All right, so we have to stick closer together. We're good to start?
Yes, we're good. Let's kick this off.
All right, welcome guys. This is our first ever live event. So obviously there's always going to be a few technical glitches. So please bear with us. Welcome to the TP360 live feed. We're very excited to be doing our first live event. And we couldn't think of anyone more dear to us, more closer to us.
Don't get me blushing now.
More heartfelt to ask to join us today than our very good friend, Ahmed. I'm joking.
Yes.
Faisal.
Thank you.
Faisal, thank you very much for joining us.
So basically, I've been on camera a few times for TP360.
But never live.
Never live, but I don't know if they know who you are.
Of course they know.
They do?
Sure.
Okay, do you want me to introduce you?
Or? And I'll be blushing.
Okay.
No, don't do that.
Okay, so no, thank you very much for hosting me. I think this is a great initiative. I'll let you speak about it, but I'm very, very happy to be here today.
All right, guys, look, we're very excited to be launching our very first auction event. So we've had our auction app probably for a while now. We've been running it for a year and a half. We've sat down, tried to think of other things we could do with the auction app, which is why we came up with this concept of event. On a daily basis, I get asked or inundated with two questions always. Investment pieces and collector's pieces. When it comes to investor pieces, I'm not interested, right? It's a hyped up market and investor pieces are overly talked about. And I'm sure there's many forums which talk about investor pieces. What I am genuinely interested about, which is why we're doing this auction event, is collector pieces.
100%.
So what we're doing is we're running an auction event for collector pieces. Collector is a very vague word and we'll go through it. We've changed slightly, we've tweaked the auction event. So the first part of the auction is live now. So today we're going to be revealing the 15 watches, and there may be more, which are going to be going live in the auction. You can download the app, it's LP Auction. Go to upcoming and you'll see all the watches coming up in the auction. We got a lot of feedback that people wanted time to be able to see the watches in the auction. They wanted to come and physically see the watches. So we've put them all on display. I don't think you can see it here.
Let me move.
No, well, you can see it partly. But what we've done is for the next 10 days, people can come and see the watches, try them on, ask as many questions as you want. We've switched on, or we've allowed this new feature called pre-bidding, where people will be allowed to pre-bid on a watch before the live auction. The live auction will now be running on Saturday, October the 7th. There will be half-an-hour auctions. We're going to run them not one after the other, but concurrently, but they'll all end at different times. But allowing people to bid on more than one watch, but they're going to be short auctions running for half an hour to keep that excitement level in and allowing people to come and see the watch like a traditional auction would be, but then allowing them to pre-bid or bid on the auction itself.
So that's very cool because number one, you get a chance to come and see the watch.
Yes.
So that's quite different to what we used to do. Number two, there's the, sorry,
Like coming this way.
No.
But don't get too close.
No? Okay.
That's good.
No, because
stay
Instagram, okay, that's fine. So number two, this gives you the chance at the end of the pre-bidding cycle to really become quite feisty if there's a watch you really like, and it gives you this whole time to come and pre-bid. But let me ask you, how does pre-bidding really work? So you come, you see the watch, and then you put in your bid, just for our viewers to understand a little bit better.
Yeah, good. Look, the idea of pre-bidding is allowing people the opportunity to get into what we call like a pole position on a watch if they're very interested in. The thing about these watches, they vary in price. We have some on the lower side and we have some on the higher side. So we understand that people want to do their research, check out the watch, read about it before they commit to something, which is why we're allowing them to make a pre-bid. By pre-bidding, what you can do is you can come into the store, you can do it through a web form on the website, indicate the price you want to bid at. You can only pre-bid once, and on the day of the auction, when it goes live, we take the highest pre-bid, and that becomes the starting price for the auction.
Okay, so now it's a little bit more clear. Okay, so the highest bid during the pre-bid becomes the starting price for the auction.
And that's how we will start the auction. Each auction will have a reserve price still, which will get revealed then on the day if it meets the reserve price.
And each watch will have a 30-minute span for that final run.
Correct.
Okay.
But what we have is a feature within the auction app where in the last 30 seconds, if anyone bids, it extends for another 30 seconds.
Okay, very good.
A bit like the hammer traditional
Very
words
nice.
when he says
Yes.
one,
Allora,
once,
allora,
going
due.
twice, going thrice.
Very nice, very nice, very nice.
Make sense?
Fantastic. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
All right. So this auction is happening. It starts from today. You can come and see the watches. They're all on display. You can pre-bid, like we said. The actual live event itself will be on Saturday, October the 7th, starting 6 p.m. Each auction runs for 30 minutes.
Oh, very nice. So Saturday, October 7th, starting at
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Very nice. Very
Yes.
nice.
And the theme is, and this is what I wanted to touch on now, collectible watches.
Yeah.
Right? So what do you define as collectible?
Look, so I've looked at the list that you guys of the watches that are going to go here, and I like it very much. There's 2 or 3 different ways to look at what is a collectible watch outside of the hype and investment and all of this discussion. Number one, it could be a collectible within the brand. So, for example, if we were to talk about, let's say Jaeger LeCoultre, the Reverso would be one of their more collectible watches. It could be a collectible within the line itself. So if we were to look at, for example, the Rolex Submariner, a vintage 5513 would be very collectible. If we were to look at a holistic collection and we want to think of something outside the box, then, for example, the Ulysse Nardin that we have, which is an annual calendar, enamel dial, can become a collectible. So there's different ways of looking at a collectible or at an iconic watch, either within your collection, within a brand, or within the line of watches itself, right? Because again, even the term collectible became overused, and it's, there are icons out there, whether we like it or not, they're all collectible. But sometimes let's take a neo-classic or neo-vintage watch, that's a full set, full sticker, new old stock, that could become a collectible piece, right? Because you take it, you wear it carefully. I don't believe in safe queens. You wear it carefully, but over the long term, this becomes a collectible. So that's why I was also very happy when I saw the list of watches and you calling the series the collectible series.
Yeah, look, it's an event. Ahna, we've gone down the road that at the end of the day, a collectible piece is still a personal thing. What you may deem collectible, I may not deem, or vice versa.
Yeah.
But what we've tried to do is curate a list of what we believe to be widely agreed upon collectible watches. And that's the aim that we're going for.
Yeah,
People may agree, people might not agree.
Exactly.
People may see them as investable watches, others may not agree. But I think for the most part, most people will agree that it's a collectible watch.
Yeah. 100%.
So what I wanted to do is maybe pick a few watches, which are your favorite. Let's go through them in short, and we can talk a bit about why they're collectible.
Yeah, very good. So before I pick maybe my favorites, there's a lot of really cool watches in the list, right? Something like the Breitling Emergency, okay? Maybe it's not on everybody's mind, but that's as cool of a watch as it gets, right? What else? We have the Ulysse Nardin that I spoke about, a very cool, very different kind of watch, complicated yet attainable and very, very nicely done, high horology. But look, if you ask me my favorites, so there's a couple that I immediately lit up when I saw. Number one is the Patek Philippe World Timer.
Let me get it out.
Yeah,
because it's one of my favorites too.
yeah, and so there's a lot to say about the Patek Philippe World Timers in general. Again, when you say collectible within Patek Philippe, you might think of Nautilus or Aquanaut or all that other stuff. But the world timer from Patek Philippe is a complication that existed or that started in 1939, right? With Patek as a wristwatch. The world timer, there might be things before, but it's really Patek Philippe who brought the modern world timer to where it is today. This is a very, very beautiful, very handsome wild gold on silver/gray dial. For me, this is definitely one of the favorites. Being on an auction, first of all, gives me hope that this is a watch I can get at a great value. Second of all, given that it's a high complication watch, for the price that it sells or retails in the pre-owned market is really good. Is this a collectible watch? Within a collection, 100%. For me, this is a great choice from Timepiece 360 versus versus maybe selecting just another Nautilus or Aquanaut into the collection. So I don't know what do you have to say about it, but for me, this is a perfect watch to bid on.
Yeah, look, why I think it's a collectible. It's a Patek Philippe at the end of the day, and it's a complication. It's one of their discontinued models. And look, I'm not going to talk about investment, but it's still one of the very few pieces that trades below retail price, and it has done for a while. Yet it ticks a lot of the boxes that you would want from a collector's piece. So if I'm a genuine collector and I'm looking long term, I think this is a great collector's piece because it ticks pretty much all of the boxes.
100%. And look, just so that we don't use the term investment, we can use the term value. There's so many other terms. What this gives you, further price range is really, really, I don't think there's anything that's going to give you this at the price range that it's selling on in the pre-owned market. So that's definitely one.
So this is number one on your list. Are you going to be bidding?
For this, yes.
You will?
Yes, for this, yes. For this, yes.
Competition now, already in place.
I will wait.
I'm expecting pre-bids.
I'm going to wait till the last 30 minutes, and then and there we'll see what happens. But that's definitely a watch that caught my eye.
What's number two?
Look, number two, I'm going to jump from from this very complicated, beautiful watch to something that's really been abused over time, and that's going to be the 5513.
Ah, okay.
Right. So the Submariner 5513. As you can see, this is a watch that's really lived its day. You might, choose to change the glass on it or, the plexi. It's up to you, but this is definitely a great historic watch. The beauty of as you can see, the beauty of a 5513, and that reminds me now of the one they found for, I think, Charlie Sheen.
What was that?
They found it, it was all banged up. But the beauty of the 5513 is it's a very historic reference. This one, if just to double check, what year was it?
This is 1967.
1967. So that's what, a 40-year-old watch now, around 40-year-old?
Yeah.
1967. No,
more 50-year-old.
That's a 50-plus-year-old watch.
It does have the bezel. The watch is not complete.
Yes, it does.
The bezel is there.
Yes, and it comes with a very nice vintage box. So that's definitely my second choice. Again, these watches, when you're buying vintage, it's all about condition. I cannot say more than that. But within condition, there's patina, there's use. This is definitely a watch that lived its life. That's definitely a watch I'd be interested in. So I don't know what's your take on it, but
no, look, at Timepiece, we're not vintage experts,
100%.
and we haven't been. But when this watch came across, it's a very interesting watch. It's naked, so no, it does come with the box, but no papers. But the dial has not been changed, and you can see here. I know it's very difficult to see, but if you look at the looms, it's very cool.
Yeah, it is. I agree. And look, when it comes to vintage or vintagey Rolexes, there are so many references that have had a long lifespan, or so many years of production, that within the same reference you can find a watch that is being sold at 150 and a watch that's being sold at 50, because within these years there are different marks, different dial configurations, so on and so forth, right? I'm not going to go into the detail of this watch because I don't know enough about it to speak about it in details, but this is definitely an interesting watch for me at the right price.
But come down, see it, ask questions, find out more. In the 5 years we've run Timepiece, this is the first time we've had a 19 or anything in that age range.
Yes.
A watch in this condition. So definitely worth coming down to see if you're interested.
Okay.
What's number 3 on your list?
Look, so there's a couple more. There's another Rolex, definitely. No, this is going to be the Zenith.
The
But
Daytona?
before we go into the Daytona, I'll pick the Bulgari.
Okay.
So I'll pick this one, another one, and then I'll let you pick.
No, I'm not picking. You're picking today.
So this is the Bulgari Octofinissimo skeleton. When this watch came out a few years ago, the Octofinissimo line in general, for me, this was a revival of what high horology was all about. Number one, Bulgari, and the Octo with the Genta design and the Genta background, and the octagon design, the ultra thin, having a brand do a series of ultra thin or thin watches. So they started with the time only, then they did the GMT, the chronograph, the skeleton. For me, this is outstanding value. I mean, this is high horology that a lot of us can get, right? For me, this is at par with any of the Holy Trinity watches. The finishing on it is amazing. The complication, the movement.
Statement. Really?
Oh, for me, this specific model to be done by Bulgari the way it was done and it was finished.
And don't forget, Bulgari not watchmakers.
No, 100%. But Bulgari also with the Genta from the 80s, have had some experience in watchmaking. So this for me is a commitment that they want to play the high horology watch game, and they've done an outstanding job at it. So for me, this is definitely one of the watches I'm also interested on following, if not bidding on.
Such a light watch.
It is. It is.
It's
It's a fantastic. It's fantastic. It's a since it came out for me. That's just a something that's for me a must-have in the collection.
You have a Bulgari today in your collection?
Not yet, and that's why that's definitely something that I'm very interested in following.
Another pre-bid.
Yes. Yeah. We'll see. I'll we'll give the chance to all your your followers.
You can start.
So that's definitely my number 3, and as you can see, it's starting to look like a really nice collection.
Yeah.
So a Patek Philippe World Timer, an ultra thin skeleton, a Bulgari, a vintage Rolex.
All very different too.
Oh yes, exactly. All very different.
I'm going to allow you to pick 2 more.
Okay, that's good.
So
fine. So we've
pick
got
carefully.
the Zenith Daytona.
Oh, you're going to go Zenith?
Yes. So my followers, or people who follow, not my followers, that's a little bit too arrogant to say. The few of you who follow me on Instagram know that, I have a love-hate relationship to Daytona, right? But when it comes to Daytona collectability, outside of Paul Newman and vintage, this is a fantastic Daytona to get. I still think that this is great value for, for where they stand today versus where they can go. The movement is obviously an outstanding El Primero movement, and that's why they call it the Zenith Daytona. So for me, that's really a beautiful piece.
But why do you said you think there's still great value in this watch?
Yes, I think look, they've gone up a lot, but the fact that they're discontinued, there's a limited base, there's more demand building on them. I think there's still more room to go. These are true collectibles in today's every sense of the word.
So you don't think the demand on these is hype? It's actual genuine demand based on
100%. We have to take into account that it was Daytona in the 90s that started the whole waitlist movement for Rolex. The first watch.
After when we first started 5 years ago, every single model was available, including the Nautiluses. The only watch on a waiting list was the Daytona.
Exactly.
Even if it's still traded at a discount to retail, but it was the only one waiting list.
Yeah, 100%. So for me, the Daytona Zenith is a great, a great collector piece. The biggest difference, or one of the big differences between it and the in-house movement, is the symmetry of the subdials.
Yeah.
And something about, a lot of the Daytona collectors, that's one of the key things they love about this, right? It's the symmetry of the subdials, the 3, 6, 9. So for me, that's number 4. For me, that's number 4.
And this one actually, again, just so that people know, this is a box, no papers, but it was recently serviced at Rolex. So it still has all the stickers from the Rolex service.
Yeah.
And it's in great condition.
Yeah, and it was just serviced by Rolex.
Yeah.
So that's
it's
another,
a 1999.
Yeah, it's a 1999.
Which I think
is the last year
of the
Zenith.
Yeah.
Yes,
So again, a significant year for Zenith Daytona.
Yeah.
But
pre-bids. Yeah. What, we have pre-bids going?
No. People have to pre-bid on
Okay,
this.
yes. So people have to pre-bid on everything, right? But come in, see the watches. I mean, look, this is so cool. So one of the very famous Daytonas is what you call the Patrici dial.
Yes.
It's a 94, 93 dial, but sorry, 94, 95.
Yeah.
But what's really cool about this is that it has a bit of this creamy subdial. This is 1999, so definitely not a Patrici, but it has, I don't know whether it's patina or what it is, but it has a bit of this creamy subdial. Black on the subdial is really, really nice. If you look at ceramic Daytonas, I think the white has a little bit more fame, but on the Zenith, even on the in-house full steel, the black dial just makes it so classy.
And to put it into context, what makes this a collectible piece is we get this watch once every 2 years. I think the last one we ran it in an auction, remember?
Yeah.
2019, and that was the last Zenith Daytona we've had. So we don't see them that often, and they're becoming rarer and rarer to find in comparison to other watches which people deem as collectible, but they're still in production.
So one last question, the fact that it's been fully serviced at Rolex, will it come with a service paper?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. And again, all of these things either have boxes or papers, so they are collectible state watches. My number 5.
And last one, so pick carefully.
Yeah, my number.
And you have some here too.
Yes, I do. So I'm actually torn between the Rolex and the AP. And in fact, I'll tell you, both of these are what you call hyped watches, but they're fantastic watches.
All right.
So I'm not going to pick them, but really quickly, the Rolex Sky Dweller.
No, I was going to say, I'll let you do both, but you have to be quick.
No, most complicated Sky Dweller, Sky Dweller. This AP Chrono is a beautiful watch. I don't want to pick either. I'll let you pick them if you want.
You're going to make me pick?
Yeah, I'll let you pick.
All right, look, from
a
collectible perspective, I'm a big fan of the Sky Dweller, maybe not on my wrist, but like you said, it's the most complicated of all Rolexes.
You want me to get it for you?
But no, it's still in production.
Okay.
Right? So if you're asking me in terms of collectability, I'd have to go for this one. So this is the AP Rolo Chrono discontinued model.
Yeah.
Rolex, AP has seen, we've seen a huge uptick in demand for AP over the last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
As always, blue dial is the hyped up dial, but discontinued. AP production numbers are pretty low, which makes this a very collectible watch. And this, similar to the Daytona, we get one of these probably once a year. Yeah. So they're hard watches to find. And it's not as if they come and we say no to them. We can't find, they're very hard to find anymore.
I agree.
People stick to them and they don't sell them anymore.
Yeah. And look, I think this specific model is really cool. Obviously the blue dial, everybody wants a blue, but the chrono, the date window is very nicely placed. The what you call the tapisserie dial. I think this is a perfect steel Royal Oak, right? It's a 41 millimeter, so perfect size. I definitely, like I told you, I was also torn about picking this. And look, if you kind of two Genta inspired watches, or one is actually a Genta design, one is Genta inspired, but completely different.
Very different.
But those two alone, what a combo. So you'll have a nice dress skeleton watch, you'll have the sports steel. I mean, these two can make a collection just on their own.
So you're telling people, you're advising them to take both?
Yeah, oh no, I'm advising people to definitely bid on multiple watches. So imagine, again, the Zenith, the Bulgari, and the
So quick story. So in our early days, I think when we first moved here, we had an AP Royal Oak, the white dial.
Yes.
This wasn't the chrono, it was the plain dial.
Yes, 15400.
The 15400.
Yes.
Which Faisal was very interested in. But you were hesitant, I think.
No, I was a gentleman because you told me somebody's driving from Abu Dhabi to pick it up.
So we had 2 clients who were interested in the same.
So I said, I'll wait. And he actually came and picked it up. And I lost a 15400. At the time.
How much were we selling it for?
50,000 dirhams. 50,000 dirhams.
And that's going for now?
130, I'd say, 140.
It's crazy.
For a white dial.
Yeah. It's going more?
Minimum 160.
160,000 dirhams. So it is what it is.
All because he's a gentleman.
Yeah, the price you pay. So you got to pick maybe one more.
I get to pick. I think
If you
you've
want,
picked all of them, right?
No, there's one more. There's one more that's special.
I think we've got 4 sea dwellers.
No, but there's one that's really special.
Khalas, pick it.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is the.
You're telling me to pick, but you really want to pick.
Yeah, no, because I think it's a special. Again, unfortunately, Rolex, but it is what it is.
It doesn't have to be unfortunate.
Yeah, it's no, because we want to diversify. You know what? I'll speak also very quickly about a couple of watches, and then you can wrap up. But this is what you call the 666, right? Let me make sure it is the 666, just to make sure you know. Yeah, it is. Okay, so the 666 is a very cool sea dweller. And it's the first sea dweller, if I remember correctly, that they did with a helium escape.
Correct.
It's got a very nice custard pumpkin loom dots. That means obviously this is patina, the looms don't work, but this is a really, really cool watch. And it's a matte dial, which makes them even more collectible. Thank you. It's a matte dial that makes them even more collectible. We have our consultant here just helping us out. Yeah,
correcting us all the way.
But this is really a cool collectible watch. It's collectible for what it is. It's collectible for being the first helium escape, the matte dial, and these watches are still very, very nicely priced today versus.
But let me just get another sea dweller. Let's see
Yeah.
if you have that one just quickly.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, yeah.
Right? Because
Man, there's a lot of watches I can see myself bidding on. That's
so
very
this
bad.
is another sea dweller.
Yeah, so that's very nice. Vintage or classic versus modern.
Modern, but this is discontinued. Sea dweller, I think this is the 2016. But again, what makes this collectible? It's the 40 millimeters. It was produced only for how many years? I think it was limited period, a few years.
I agree. Because then they moved to the 116. Yeah.
Yes, the bigger size.
Yeah.
And what makes also this a collectible piece is that it's what they call a NOS, new
old stock.
New old
So
stock.
that's an unworn, unused sea dweller that you can get.
And this is very, very difficult to find. To find a watch which is now 5 to 6 years old, a discontinued model with its full stickers, unworn, is probably unheard of these days.
Yeah.
Again, go ahead.
No, go. You.
La la la.
No, so just make sure. Again, these are, for example, 2 very hard to get watches. Make sure you come in, you see the watches, you get your pre-bids in. One really cool thing about this, just because I have the Sea Dweller 50th anniversary, I can
43 million.
Yes, I can tell you from a wearability perspective, this is a fantastic watch. Size-wise and thickness-wise, the 43, the anniversary Sea Dweller is a bit thick, a bit bulky. This is just a gorgeous watch, and I think this was one of the first that they used ceramic on, if I remember correctly. This was one of the first watches that they used the ceramic bezel on. It's just, this looks wonderful.
It's a great size,
and
right?
It is
because it has the thickness, the size.
I agree, and I love the fact that there's no loop
on the date.
On the date, just it flows. The dial looks perfectly nice. So again, 2 amazing Rolexes. One quick one I want to talk about is just really quick.
So we went from just reviewing 5 watches.
So anyway, so we saw the diversity and where we are. We're about to go offline. No, we're good. We're good. Okay. So one quick watch I want to speak about, just for the sake of diversity, because we said we don't want just to talk about, it's not about hype pieces. It's about really finding what could be collectible within IWC. And IWC is a brand I really, really like. In the 90s, they did what very few other people did. They came up with modular movements that are attainable. They did split chronographs. So within IWC, you have the Pilot range, and within the Pilot range, you have the Petit Prince, and this is a Petit Prince. That's a very nice watch. Again, blue dial. I love the date, and the date is done the way it's done in the cockpit of the airplanes. That's why you see three days. And
but why is it a collector's piece?
This is a limited edition piece. Again, they're hard to get. I think it's 1,000 pieces if I remember correctly. But Petit Prince in general, all of the Petit Prince line.
He says it with so much finesse, right?
Yeah, I'm leveraging my friends, but the Petit Prince line generally is a very collectible. Line. So I think that really gives us a beautiful, diverse collection. Again, if I had the collection that had the Patek Philippe World Timer, the Bulgari, maybe the Daytona Zenith, and I would go with the 666, for me, that would be good. At the lower price range, you have this. We have a beautiful reverso. We have a 33 millimeter.
Everyone's pushing us to review all the watches.
Yeah, no, I think we're running out of time. So we've got, which one?
All right.
Yeah, okay, it's a special watch. Fine, we'll review it.
It's a special watch for a special someone. So, do you want to do the honors?
No, well, okay, I mean, look, so this, no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I can tell it's in your heart, you're passionate, yalla, go.
Go ahead.
But you have 1 minute.
I'll follow up.
Go.
No, again, look, so very collectible. What's really beautiful, so this is 33, right? Some
Correct.
people will say it's definitely a lady's watch. This could very potentially be a unisex watch, right? I personally own a 14790, which is 36 millimeter.
So bring it close in.
Yeah. So for me, this is a really nice 33 millimeter kind of neoclassic, not vintage, but it gives you that look. But it's unisex, so either for our lady followers or collectors who like smaller pieces. The beauty about this one is 33 millimeter, but automatic, which are very, very rare.
All right, I think we should end it there. Like we said, I've been told actually I gave the dates wrong. The auction is on Saturday, October the 9th, not October the 7th. We're open Sunday to Thursday and on Saturday to Thursday. So you're more than welcome to come and see the watches at any time. We will be potentially adding more watches for the auction. Pre-bidding is now open. So you are welcome to see the watches. You're also welcome to come in and pre-bid either from home or if you'd like to come in. You're allowed to, we said we're allowed 1 pre-bid on any single watch, and the highest pre-bid will be the starting price for the auction. This is our first event. I think we're very excited to be able just to curate a list of what we think are collectible watches, which you don't find every day. These are watches which we rarely get in. We've been stocking them and collecting them now for a few months. We've held off from selling them, and we've had a lot of pressure to sell these watches.
Oh, I can imagine.
But we've put them to the side because we want to give people the opportunity to see these watches together, make an informed decision and collect.
I agree. I think there's good diversity in here. There's going to be great opportunity for people to be able to win some great watches. Some of them truly collectible. So the name The Collectibles is, again, well used. A couple of the quick watches that are also in the auction that we did not mention. You have the Breitling Emergency Orbiter, which is a very cool watch. The Orbiter was a flight that went around the world in 24 hours.
The
Ulysse Nardin, I spoke about it twice. We have a JLC Reverso. We have 2 Sea Dwellers, 2 more Sea Dwellers. So a very diverse collection. Hopefully this is going to be the first. I really like what Timepiece is doing. Maybe this could be something that we do on a quarterly basis. Again, make sure you come in for the pre-bids. I will be giving the guys at least 1 or 2 pre-bids today before I leave. I don't know if that's going to be fair. They're going to be probably low. And don't forget that the auction is October 9th.
Saturday, right? October the 9th. It's our first live auction event, and it's the start of many. So we're going to be running them by themes in the future. This one is going to be collectible.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing different themes.
So pilots, divers.
Yeah, based on the feedback. Yeah. Look, we like feedback from people. So people have suggestions, let us know. This was done on the back of feedback from friends, customers, and just speaking to people on a day-to-day basis on what people are looking for. So please keep on talking to us. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you think this is a good or bad idea. And if you have suggestions about how even to make the auction better, please do get in touch anytime. Last words, Faisal?
No, I'm very excited to be doing this. I'm very pleased with the selection of watches. I'm a big friend of Timepiece 360. I'm happy being here. I think this is going to be fun. I can't wait till October 9th because that's really where the heat is going to be. So we're all going to be on our apps. We're all going to be bidding, and may the best man or woman win some of these great watches.
Yep, just the last word. Thank you, Faisal. Thank you for taking the time out to come and.
Sorry, if we gave any detail wrong about the watch, a reference,
it's his fault.
Please, yes, forgive us. It's my fault.
His fault.
Correct me privately, but
Yeah. Look, thank you, Faisal. Thank you. Faisal is a good friend who takes time out because he's passionate about, I think you're nothing more than passionate about these watches. It's a big hobby of his, and we are lucky to have someone like Faisal to help us out with this stuff. Last words, if you haven't downloaded it, please download the auction app. It's LP Auction, available on the iOS or Android store. You'll find the watches in the upcoming. They'll be there till Saturday, the 9th of October. We've given you room to go to Expo, check it out, and then come back and bid on the auction. So thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully this is the start of many more auctions events to come.
100%.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a wrap.
Thank you.
How was it?
So are we offline on all platforms?